Hariom, good evening to all of you. Invoke the blessings. Om. 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 Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryankaravavahai tejasvina vadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hariom. That's Sri Chinmaya Gurave. O Lord the Almighty, came together with obeisance. We offer up to seek His grace, His mercy, His blessing, His kindness, His love. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities in an enhanced way, only and only to understand right with as a living. Bless us with to each one in this way. Teach in you that without your grace, we will not be able to know that. Please shower that grace and they realize. A humble salutation, Guru Param. Om. Okay, as far as the sound is concerned, we have discussed about it, and they did say that it may take some time to adjust. Maybe that's what we have been experiencing. So let's see. So today we are on our Divine Discourse number 490 with the blessings and the blessing Guru Param. On the 19th of March 2020, Aparoksha Anubhuthi session. स्वस्ति श्री क्रोधिनाम संवत्सर उत्तरायण शिशिर ऋतु फाल्गुन मास सौम्यवासरे द्वादश्यातिथौ धनिष्ठा नक्षत्र सिद्धिनामयोग तैतुलक. On this auspicious day of Wednesday and the auspicious with all faith, Prapatti, we take an oath. O Lord, na हम करते हरि प्रेरणा. Every action of mine, be it through an incident, by a person, place, or an object, truly believe that it is orchestrated by you. And every movement of mine, be it by action, speech, or a thought, is completely. I am getting to realize this. I only want to seek your grace in being established. So make this a living reality on a moment to moment basis. Offer our salutations to Guru Param. Hariom, good evening. Very warm welcome to you. Now, so far, we got to understand what is the eligibility factor for a true sadhak. And then thereafter, Bhagavan Shankara himself posed 4 questions. Who am I? Who is the created? Who is the creator? How is the world created? And what is the material creation? So thereafter, in verse number 16, which we did last session, it was the only one verse. So there, they give us an inkling of what this true self is. Tadaham natra sandeho. So it should be that without an iota of, you should understand the nature of this Supreme. So where he said, Ahame ko api sukshmascha jnata sakshi sadavyayaha. So we understood this. So now, anyway, we'll be going to study this in much more depth. But what we need to understand here is, let's look at the three-step process which this whole text is about. I would like to reiterate because uh, we need to know where we are going. As I told you, this text is like you go on forward gear and suddenly there is a reverse gear. And then suddenly there is a left turn, there is a right turn. So sometimes you may feel you do not know where you're going. So that's the reason I'm making this very clear. In a three-step process, Bhagavan Shankara first says, disidentify yourself with anything that is finite. Finite in the sense which is limited. And another way of understanding this, know that na idam chaitanya. Padma Padacharya, one of the four prominent shishyas of Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he says, you want to know what is called na idam, that is Chaitanya means what? Na, not idam, this. If anything you can relate to as this, meaning it becomes an object. So a very simple formula. So it becomes an 100% effective experience. That is what level we have to raise now. And what is this knowledge about? This knowledge is that Atma Jnana. As I told you, like only to the princely family, when there is an attack, now only the princely family, they are given the secret route out of. So this is exactly in the same way. A jiva which is now God enough, and the fruits of the past punya have fructified. Now such a jiva starts getting. If we are getting means we are there. But it doesn't mean that when you have to take something, you have to hold your hands and you have to grasp it properly. And now if it is something which is to be eaten, you have to put it in your mouth properly. Otherwise, there can be a slip between the cup and the lip. So this is what exactly we are getting over here. So there are so many things. Oh, should we take it on the face value? Question it. So Advaita Vedanta is all about questioning. You don't take it on faith value immediately. Faith is only when you have understood, but now, yes, I'm convinced. But is it going to give results? Only at that point you use your faith. Yes. How do you say that it is going to yield results? Because there have been thousands of sages over the millennia who have achieved results from. And pratyaksha, like if you want to go in, people who have got this knowledge, how they're leading their life. So start question. And if God has given you this grace, He will give you the grace to understand. Well, but provided you follow what is. So na idam chaitanya. So what you did in the first place, you have distinguished what is Atma and what is Anatma. Okay. So this is the first step. So now this will happen in the text now. Second step will come as when you are established in the state of Atma. That's not the end of the story. Which means you are there at one level, and then you have the world in front of you which is other than you. That becomes a clear Dvaita, dual, again against the principle of Advaita. So that duality has now been clearly established. So far what it was mixed up. Atma, Anatma, everything is mixed up. So now here he says the world, objects, your own body, your own mind, everything is other than you. So that after that distinction, now you have come to the second level. Okay, now if this whole world affects other living, non-living beings, if they are there, then what is the substrate? So that's where in the principle of consciousness, so which we'll be learning in shlokas, which means that consciousness which you thought to be so is also in this entire. So, in other words, now you have understood you are that consciousness, and the entire creation is Satyam Gnana Brahma. So, that infinite when is there in each and every other than you also. Now, the third, having known ourselves, having understood, recognized ourselves, we look upon the of these changing things, objects, limited things, and we recognize everything in this universe. This is so that third step where we merge the universe back into that. Now everything in this universe, that is the third step. Recognize to be that awareness which is within. Step to it. Reflected awareness which is within. Now I have to write from that reflected consciousness. And in the subsequent sloka, it will be explained how you can find out that this reflected consciousness is an object. There is one American psychologist and philosopher. Now, he also has studied Advaita Vedanta. Now, he tells us, he gives us a method. Okay, now, why don't we do an experiment on ourselves and locate where this I is, that awareness within me. So that will come in the future shloka, which we will take it up. Okay, so now, thereby what happened now? You have understood that existence consciousness bliss, which I am supposed to be, is also this world. And then when we, Swami Virajanandaji, who was one of the presidents of the order, he has written a very small booklet, which is known as Paramartha Prasanga. Now there it's all pointers. He says, how as a monk I struggled initially to realize God. All that he puts as point number one, point number three, and how it takes you to the supreme goal. So now you just see what he says. He says the entire universe is presented to my consciousness. Meaning we are all conscious. This entire world is presented to us. Otherwise, what will we understand about consciousness? Now that we are aware, we are conscious, we are able to see the world, hear taste the world, isn't it? So, it is that consciousness alone. So, he says, this entire universe is presented to my consciousness. Either I am none of it or I am all of it. Why should I identify myself with this one body and this question? So now you go deeply into what he said. Either I am none of it, meaning what? In an avyakta form, unmanifested form, I am none of it or I am all of it. The moment the vyakta, the manifestation of the world and the universe starts, he says, so only it is out of ignorance I am limiting myself to this one body. But the moment when we start meditating, you go to the state of that awareness within. How? Through the pancha gnanendriya, pancha karmendriya, and the pancha prana. Do all that. I'm not this, I'm not. We have done till great extent. Then there is a state where you are established. because that is the reflection. When you rise from yo vai bhuma tatsu, infinite in itself is bliss. That's what the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says. Yo vai bhuma tatsukam. Once you establish yourself in that infinite, and that alpatva goes up. And why is all this suffering? Because of that limited nature of I have this. So this way, that person in ignorance, whoever is there, is in this one particular body and mind. And ignorant person thinks he is separate. There is him or her on one side and other people. Here is the world and here I am. So now the enlightenment is all this, because he's not operating at his body level, he's operating from thought. So now as we go along this text, we will be disidentifying ourselves with all the body, the mind, and when we say the mind, the thoughts, perception, ideas, the memories, this becomes disidentify because they are not the art. Why this is important, as I told you, now when we have disidentified, you are making it two. Two means Dvaita. Then eventually you have to merge to make it. So now from here onwards, we will see up to the almost 33rd verse, Bhagavan Shankaracharya talks about disidentification. And then from 34 to 88, he then talks about the second segment, where he says this universe is nothing other than consciousness. And then from 89 to 99, he talks about a very special feature, which is about the prarabdha karma. As we all know that prarabdha karma is for every jiva which has taken a birth. It has to undergo that prarabdha karma, suffer or enjoy whatever is there for that for that particular jiva. So there Bhagavan Shankaracharya shoots that. He says when a person has realized there is no prarabdha, interesting. And then from 100 onwards, he says, now the third process starts. How do I merge myself as the Atma and the entire Anatma which I had thought so far? How do I merge? So that starts from, he gives us various techniques, about 15 techniques. Although we know about them, like the Ashtanga Yoga principle, the pranayama, things like that. So all that is given in a different perspective. So we will understand. So this is where in the 16th verse we understood about the subtleness of the Atma. Then after the subtleness we understood what is Gyata, what is Sakshi. It is that witness alone who is the knower and operating through this body. Now where are we? We know only that we are the operator. We have never gone to the stage of that awareness. Now you have to move to the state. Oh, it is because of that awareness I'm able to do this. And then you dive into, it's not only that awareness which is within me, that's a reflection. I should understand that action, the breath which is being taken over here, is ordained by the Supreme Consciousness. That unchanging consciousness illumines every thought, emotion, idea, Drigdrish, Viveka. Studied, no? So that way. So there we understand the knower is our apparent self, witness between the Jnata and the what we spoke about, the Sakshi. The knower, apparent, but behind it, which is the Now, after that, we come to the 17th verse. And we'll take the 17th verse and then I'll tell you that about how the Lord decides when this magna should come and how He creates a situation and ensures that the soul gets 17 onwards till 21. Bhagavan Shankara glorifies our ignorance to say that you have to now disidentify. How is it that you fool? How is it that you're mixing, say, food with mud? If you say, anybody will they mix mud with food? Food is something to be eaten, something to be relished. Now, in that, all that mud you're mixing, mud and stones and filth, in that way, going to 5 verses. So I'll stop at one verse because my understanding is my aim or rather goal is not to get gnana. More important than gnana is vijnana. Gnana is knowledge, which we are all getting. Vijnana is getting the experience, subjective. That is my aim. So, how many chapters we have covered, how many granthas we have done, how many Upanishads we have done, that's all getting jnana. But that is not our purpose. Our purpose is we have to specialize in that straight line approach, get that hardcore deep within us, and be established. I hope we are all on the same page. At verse number 17. So, anyway, yeah, I think we'll post it on your WhatsApp. Yeah, soon receive posting on the WhatsApp. Till then, I'll read. आत्मा विनिष्कलो ह्येको देहो बहुभिरावृतः तयोरैक्यं प्रपश्यन्ति किमज्ञानमतः परम्. See, आत्मा विनिष्कलो ह्येको देहो बहुभिरावृतः. This is you, the Atman. You are without any parts. That physical body, that subtle body, everything is made of parts. And we consider them to be one and the same. Greater than this. Meaning here, Tayoraikyam prapashyanti kimajnanamataparam. This only says, but still you consider these two as one. What greater ignorance can there be? Atma is without parts. It's one consciousness. Not only you are not in, consciousness is not within you. The entire creation is within consciousness. One undivided. But you have got so many parts. Do you understand? Not only at your physical level, but even at your mental level. You have thoughts, you have ideas, you have several things which are going on in your mind at the subtle body level. So, who am I really then? Now, this I, that the self, what we call the Atman within us, now that has to find. Because we have not understood ourselves. Any common man, do you think he understands? Even we, before coming to this knowledge, did we know that? We know that yes, there is a body, there is a soul inside, and the soul goes away when we die. But we are considered everything to be one unit, isn't it? Actually, they are talking first who this. So here the word they use, the refining means in Sanskrit it is known as shodhana. So tvam padartha shodhana. Tattvamasi. You have heard this Mahavakya. Tvam means you, Tat means that, Asi means are one. So Tvam Padartha Shodhana. So we have to refine that meaning of that word you, Tattvamasi, which is Andogya. So that refining, what does that mean? When you say you are Brahman, how do you say that you are that Paramatma Shakti? What does that mean? So that basic distinction between this subject and that, which is me as the subject, and this means what? So far what we have mixed distinction. Now I'll take you through a process of how these Mahavakyas help us in this. We are taking 4 Mahavakyas. The first one is Tattvamasi. You are that. Now this particular Mahavakya is Upadeshatmaka Mahavakya. It's instructing. It's an instructional statement, you can say. Now who has given to whom? In the Chandogya Upanishad, sage Uddalaka gives to his own son Shvetaketu. In fact, just to give a little brief about the background, Shvetaketu, who was with the son of Uddalaka, now the father's, he's a sage by himself and he's a teacher by himself. He sends Shvetaketu to another university, meaning to another Gurukul. And Shvetaketu comes, tells whatever he has studied. Like as though you have gone abroad and you come, suddenly I've done business management. That father has been doing business for the last, say, 35 years. Somehow managing some funds and taking loans, this, that, he manages to send his son. His son going to one of the Ivy League colleges, he comes back and he's big terminology. And then this father asks him, do you know, can you explain to me what is Atma? He's telling him, conflicts on that. Big doubt. Okay, what is, I have not understood the core. And then the father takes. So here the father says, Tattva, you are, okay, this is the, you can call it as the, as I told you, the instruction. Okay, you got it. Now this is the way we have to proceed. That's why I'm telling you how we have to go. Second Mahavakya is Prajnanam Brahma, which means what? Consciousness is Brahman. This is Gnanatmaka Mahavakya, knowledge. That consciousness which is within you comes from the Aitariya Upanishad. So where you get established in that fund, that everything originates from that consciousness and eventually dissolves. So this is how it helps seekers understand what Brahma. So after instructional, now we got the second one, which is Gnana. Second, I told you Gnana. No? Now comes the Ayam Atma Brahma. Self is Brahman. This is Anubhavatmaka, which means becomes the Vijnana. Jnana, what you have got, unless and until you meditate on it, all what we have studied, you have to run through your mind. Ask questions wherever they are, where required. Get that clarified. Come fully convinced. Anubhavatmaka means experiential. Vijnana. So it helps an sadhak, an aspirant, turn inward and realize that the self not different from, this comes from the Mandukya Upanishad. Stage is the Aham Brahma. Now, I meaning not this I which we are currently in. After you have done the Tat Tvamasi, the instructional exercise, now that's my experience what you are having. Sakshatkaratmaka statement. From Jnana, you come to Vijnana, you get it. So this comes from the Brihadaranyaka. And where Sage Yajnavalkya, he describes. So whether we experience as this now, everything we have to experience as this. Idam. Na idam chaitanya. Simple, like this. Okay, you would say this mobile of mine. I'm not. Yes, this is my mobile, but I'm not. Then you say this glass. I'm not this glass. This is my glass, but I'm not this glass. It could even be that this shirt or this kurta, what I'm wearing, this is my kurta. Problem starts. As far as you say my car, my house, it's all my, but I am not. So far it is good. But when it comes to the skin, the problem. When it comes to the skin and the body, then we include the body in the meaning of the word. That's where ignorance. In the meaning of the word, you, I, immediately we get experience world through. So this body, it is an object of experience. In every sense, it is an object of experience because we can see it. Whenever we are hungry, we are sick. You can see sometimes, the stomach rumbling. We get some sounds also. They say butterflies are in my stomach. And if you don't take a bath for days, you can see the body smell. You can even taste. So the body is an na idam chaitanyam. Use this principle. So when you can see, it's a finite object. It is limited. So now this process of refining it as everything that can be classified as this idam, it is not conscious. So now here the teacher tells us consider these four important things. First one is now look at the body. And here Bhagavan Shankaracharya gives us a kind of a warning. He says, Avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavat bhir avapyate. Meaning what? This comes in the Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter, 5th shloka. He says, those people who are attached, embodied to the body, so the path of the unmanifest, which we are now trying to pursue, which is that, what are we pursuing? That unmanifest, Nirguna Brahman. Very difficult and it's going to be full of suffering. So that's where, between Dvaita and Advaita, this is the difference. Why he has said this is, if you are in a position where you have understood by your mind, with reasoning, you have come out of that and known that this body is different from the Atma, which now we'll be reasoning to much more detail. If you have done that, then this is for you. If it is not the case, yes. So the existence of the body or appearance of the body is not for us. Identification. So that identification with the body. Okay? So now see how we untie or loosen this identification. Let's consider these four important points. One, Ekam, anek. Ekam means one, anek means several. So now I always consider my body to be one unit, isn't it? Isn't that there are several parts in the body? I have got hands, I have legs, I've got a head, I've got a liver, I've got a kidney, I've got heart, I've got lungs, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, so many parts, multiple organs. And as you go deeper and deeper, then you have got several other things. You have got millions and millions cells. And now, if you go to see, kind of bacteria, good bacteria, bad bacteria, they say it is much more than the amount of number of cells we have. So, this kind of parts of the body we are carrying, but we generally, out of ignorance, we consider I that singular number with this multiplicity. If I have to name, oh, this is my finger, but there again, this finger, when you don't address it separately, you say, this is my. So now, first one, we have to understand that this Atman is one, whereas this second one, Chit and Jada, that conscious is Chaitanya Shakti, sentient, as this body is Jada. So I am conscious, and the body is an object of my awareness. Or simple, isn't it? Like if that consciousness awareness is not there in this body, what is the state of this body? We all know very well. So how can a living and a non-living thing can become one? So we have to consider this is one more point of distinction for making Atma and Anatma. Then we come to the third one, Vikari and Nirvikari. Vikari means continuously the body is as that. So now, if you see, I was a small baby. We were all baby, a kid. Then we became a teenager, and then became a middle-aged person, and then old person. Now, speaking about that change at the mind level, earlier I could not even write one sentence in my one point of time. I was only knowing the, and slowly I started learning. I was able to learn words. Then I was able to learn two, three words. Then I was able to make a sentence. Hey, double PhD. I know so many things. I'm a scientist, isn't it? So now, hasn't the mind changed for some time? Isn't it that the mind continuously is changing? So you cannot be a change. This body and mind is a changing. You know, many a times we are. It seems so stupid. Now, if you are sitting in the economy class and if the air hostess comes and tells you, "Sir, please come, we have upgraded you to first class," do you want to think about this? Is what the Lord is saying. Baba, you are losing strength day by day. You're getting problems one after the other at your mental level, physical level, your financial level, relationship level. Everywhere you are undergoing problem. And I am trying to tell you that I'm lifting you out from everything and putting into a state where you have got no physical ailment, no mental ailments at all. You have got no financial troubles at all. That is what exactly happening over here. Come out from the state of that jiva bhava. I am this limited individual. To what now the so-called Almighty Paramatma, that His grace on us is, I am upgrading you. Imagine saving money, taking a leave from office. You have somehow planned for a trip to the US or to the Europe, let's say, 3 weeks trip. And now 3 weeks is the airlines person, he or she comes to you and says, you have an option to travel to any part of the world by any airline in any class. Free. Really? Then what happens to my job? I lose my job. No, no, don't worry. The company, that is the multinational company, a $1 billion company in which you are working, now you are chairman of that. Hey, Baba, I've got some EMIs to pay at the end of the month. Now your job is secured. Okay. I've got EMIs to pay. Which bank? You are chairman of that. Imagine this is exactly what is, what all we have considered to be limited is now getting into that unlimited. Paramananda, not just Ananda. So, in this state, at every level, now you're talking about, say, ailments or whatever it is, no ailments. You get back your youth, your strength, and you have everything that you want in this. So, now, what is telling us? You shift. And for this, if we are going to still bark, this reminds me of one story. A father is sending his son to a city for studies, maybe degree first year. So he tells them, in cities they do a lot of cheating. Be careful. What you should do is, when you go there, and when they ask you, you want to buy an umbrella, let's say, they say 100 rupees. So what you have to do is straight ask for half, 50 rupees. So that way you should start extra smart. So he goes there and it's rainy time, ask the shop, 50, 100. He says, give it to me at 50. Suddenly asking 50. But he somehow felt that he was an interesting character. He says, okay, take it. So then, see the extra smartness, He says, give it to me at 25. Now, the shopkeeper felt I should enjoy this now. Okay, done. When he said 25 done, he says 12 and a half. So that way it went to a stage where it says, Chalo Baba, okay, nothing, it is for free. Then you know what that son should ask? He's saying, give me two. So this way, it is when we are extra smart, all these kind of things. So here we should be high common sense reasoning. God is upgrading us, and for this you don't need anybody's um, you can say validity. It is your own experience will tell you that if I start gaining this knowledge, it will be my state of. So this way, now this text is discussing the idea of that consistent awareness that perceives change rather than being a changing entity. So now it suggests that, through logic and experience, whatever way you want, you recognize that the essential self is nothing. Okay, this is the third one. Now the last one is drashta and drishta. All that changes which are happening in my body, in my mind, of course, in also in the world. So whatever you see is, I am able to see those changes. So that means they become. So this text, it discusses the idea that identifying only with the body is logically inconsistent. and it is going to lead you to suffering, which we all have been experiencing because we have identified with the body, meaning ID, body, mind, attachments, family, all this. So it suggests that through that proper reasoning and understanding, one can see true self. That is not this changing body, but that one principle which I have used and it is helpful is, if I am of that infinite kind of a, why limited to this small role over here, then immediately bring in the concept of the act. It may be 1,000 crore movie. Now the producer, director, screenplay writer, actor is the is one and one only. Okay. Now he has selected for himself a, a meager role. Let's say he's a car driver of the hero over there. So when he's saying that, he knows for himself that I am the producer of this movie, I'm the director of this movie, but he is also acting in a role. So consider yourself that I am given this role, although I am of that. So then the mind will be able to accept this. This is at least what I have practiced. So you all can also use this and see if it helps. Otherwise, you can think of, I am the puppeteer and I am the puppet and the consciousness is the puppeteer. So in this way now, after doing this reflection, so now I will feel that great idea of what we have thought. We have to come out of that. So these three things which Advaita is text is, it's just everywhere you use this. Atma Vinishkalo. Did you all get the, yeah. Atma Vinishkalo Heko Deho Bahupiravrataha. Okay. So Atma has no parts and Deho Bahuviravrataha. It is a conglomeration of several parts. Now, Nish Kala. Kala means, it also means art in many Indian languages, but Kala in Sanskrit also means part. So, like if you have to say Panchabhutas, compare this as part. So, Prithvi Kala, it is that physical aspect for a body. How do you look at the Prithvi Kala of the body? There is flesh, there is skin, there are muscles, there are tissues, there are bones. Now that is the earth part, Prithvi Kala of the body. Then you have the Jala Kala. Jala Kala is the water aspect, the blood running through the entire body, the various juices, the hormones, the enzymes, so many things. That is the water aspect. And then you have the air, Vayu Kala. We are breathing in air. So very important. So now that becomes the air aspect. And then there is the Agni Kala, which is the heat aspect. So without temperature, you see how everything goes for a toss. Just a 2-degree increase in temperature, you are sick. So that is the fire aspect. And finally, you have the Akasha Kala. So where the space of this body, which it has engrossed, now that becomes the space aspect. Now in this Tantra, there are other kalas also. Like for example, the time. That is also an aspect. Ayu. Ayu is that lifespan. Ayu Kala. So now here I am the observer. I watch. I experience the body with these aspects. Just like I use various apparatus for my daily usage. I use a pen, I use a mobile, I use a pair of spectacles. So all this I am, other than those things, although they are mine, they are my utilities, paraphernalia, but so even the subtle body, as we have a mind and you have intelligence, memory, all that. So This way, Atma Nishkala Heko Deho Bahubiravrataha. Then he says, Ayorekyam Prapashyanti Kimagnya Matapar. What great can there be? You are one. You are saying that multiplicity is you. So here, let this get deep into you. Know that you are not this. Come out of. We will take up the story. The reason is I feel that we have to somehow come out of this bondage of what we talk, getting stuck in this deha bhava, jiva bhava. So here, none other than the son of Ma, Angiras. So he's the one who gives Atma Jnana. Okay. So that's what I wanted to share over here. I'll give a little background to this story. Indra had won a war against the Asura, Lord Indra. And as the Lord of the heavens, he had won the war and everybody is praising. So he's seated on his throne with his wife, Chachi, who's sitting to him. And there are all these apsaras, heavenly attendants, the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, and then the Maruts, and then the 33 crore gods, what we call Ucha Devata, the 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, 8 Vasus, 2 Ashwini Kumaras, all of them are standing around him and tell you fought. And so now, in that state of mind, his teacher, Guru, Rishi Brahaspati, comes, his divine preceptor. It so happens that he comes there and naturally, Guru expects a certain behavior from this student. Indra is lost. He does not even get up. He does not even look at. Now Brahaspati is watching for quite some time. No response. Brahaspati, time has come where he should learn his lesson. Leaves the place. Because that impertinence which he was seeing, he felt is of no use now. After he leaves that place, suddenly Indra realizes, somebody tells him Brahaspati was standing here, he got angry and went away. Indra, he said, okay, let me go and catch his feet now. There is nothing left for me. He gets up and go to Brahaspati. Brahaspati anticipated this. So what he did is made himself invisible. He stuck. No sooner the Asuras got to know that now this heaven is without Lord Indra and his um, entire team is without. So they go and approach Shukracharya. Shukracharya ji, this has happened, and even now Swarga Loka is without Brahaspati. Immediately, now wage a war on Indra. No Guru Krupa now. He doesn't have guidance. Wage a war. Defeated. In this state, now what happens? Now, this is just a background to the main story. My interest is telling you all about that Atma Jnana, direct words of which come from Angiras and Narada Muni. Both of them are in this. That's why I found this up. What they are talking and how things happen. You'll understand. Okay, now the war starts. Indra is losing badly. So finally, Adipurusha, Narayana, save us. So Narayana knows the strength of, so he tells him, now you've got no choice than to have such a weapon that you will be able to win over the. So they say, go to Dadichi. Now, who is Dadichi? Dadichi is the Rishi who had got Brahma, who had given Brahma Jnana to the Ashwini Kumaras, who are considered to be the Chakoti Devata. So Ashwini Kumaras, they gave him immortality to Dadichi. So they say, okay, now go and take his spine, and out of that make a Ayudha, which is known as the Vajrayudha. Now, all this happens. Now, Indra has got this Vajrayudha. The fight starts again using that Vajrayudha. Now, here, as the fight is going on, now there is tremendous power in that Vajrayudha, Narayana Astra. So, the person who is fighting, now he says Vritra, his name is Vritra, is the Asura over here. He is telling Indra, Indra, attack. And he says, if I am killed, I will only be giving up this sinful body. Now he is an Asura. See, I am not grieved. Use your Vajra on me. He's telling him, use your Vajra. What are you doing? Are you afraid that it will prove ineffective against me? Like a request he is making him. And are you afraid that Vajra will fail just like your mace did? So this Vajra, which has been blessed by Lord Narayana, will not fail you. Telling all this. Now, Indra was standing like one amazed and listening to this unexpected thing from this Asura in front, because Vritra had smashed Indra again. Now, then he tells, now these are important things. As for me, I have set my mind on the feet of this Asura, Vritra is saying. And when I am killed, I will find release from this body, which is but a body. I will reach the state which yogis attain because of the tapas. The Lord, when he loves his bhakti, does not give him the wealth of the three worlds. You know why? He knows that wealth is the cause of hatred, fear, mental pain, arrogance, quarrels, unhappiness, and extreme. Indra, believe me, the Lord grants freedom from all these, and only Mitra, he lost part of the field. He is now in a state of, his mind is, oh Lord, he's praying. Huh? In that massive, I didn't go much into the details of the fight, something spectacular. He now says, whatever he had to tell Indra, he told him, hey, what are you doing? Fight. It is Lord Narayana's weapon, it will kill me. And then he says, this fellow, whatever he does, let him do. He sits in, oh Lord, please make me the servant of yours. Make my mind think only of your qualities. Let my voice sing only your greatness. Let my body perform only such actions which are dear to you. I want you, my Lord, and there is no desire in me for the realms of that Brahmaloka or for the state of being a Dhruva. I do not want to become the emperor on this earth, and nor I desire to rule the worlds. I do not want also. I want, nor I want any proficiency in any. So I'm caught up in this whirlpool called. So please, freedom. Let me love your bhaktas, because that is the sure way to become. Because of the veil of Maya, which you have thrown in my path, I am attached to my body, to my wife, to my children, my home, and my other possessions. please remove this veil and help me take this world to the things of the world, all whatever is there. Now, continues at one stage, Vritra, he swallows Indra because he's saying he's not doing anything. Let me swallow him. He swallows him. And then Indra, with his Vajra Kavacha, he tears open his. So there was horror in that all across. Actually, how comes this? Now, King Chitraketu. Now, Parikshit, where this he is telling this story. Sukadev is telling the story to Parikshit Raja. Parikshit Raja immediately intervenes and he says, "My lord, you have been telling about this Asuric birth of Vritra, and you said about so many cruelties he had done on the Devas during the earlier fight also. And yet, my lord, he spoke words which only a great God Narayana can speak. How is it possible for a Bhakta, the Lord, to speak like this? Please enlighten." It is actually confusing me. So then Sukadev Maharaj is, you have asked a very good question. He tells him, look, there are more living beings than grains of sand on the living, all living beings, not human beings, all living beings. Among them, a few, we should understand now if we are on this path, there is a challenge and there is also something to be happy about. Very few walk on the path of Dharma. Again, amongst this, very few who are walking on the path of Dharma, very few people think of moksha. That is the what we talk as the mokshutva, as the ultimate aim of our life. Now, among 1,000 people who desire for moksha, only one is able to get this, namely world. Please remember this. As far as you are attached to the world, one thing also. Among a crore of such sublimated souls, one will be able to reach the feet of the Lord. When such is the case, how is it that Vritra, who as an asura, who was bent on harassing the devas, who was a sinner, how is it that he had so much bhakti for the Lord? Very apt question. So now in this, did you realize now? One attachment in life. Says, what? No, for me, I have given up everything. But, my son, my grandson, or this house, whatever, you will have one. It's like you have say, a 5 feet pit. You have to jump over now. And you are able to jump 4 feet 11 inches. Even if that 1 inch is short, you will fall in the pit. You jump 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet 11 inches also, you will still be in the pit. You will have to go above that. So in this way, you have to give up attachment, not giving up people, love people, but don't take. If they are there, fine. If they are not, anything, person, place, object, as far as it is there, agatam, swagatam, gachantam tu nivari. Anybody is coming, invite them, treat them well, fine. But if somebody is saying, I'm going, don't ask them to stay back. Let them go. You have. This is what I learned in this particular. Now, so now the background, we got that. Now the story starts. Bhagavatam is like it has got wheels within wheels. Now, some important aspects I didn't want to Such an asura having these bhakta qualities. And now they wanted to bring up what Sukadeva was saying, sorry, Parikshit Raja was saying about the state of who can achieve this and what is the way to get out of this. Is that anything you should be able to say, turn down, it should not cause. You have to practice this from the usual things what we are doing. Don't just jump into that. Say no and keep away, whatever it may be, and see how it is affecting your mind. If you are not affected, that means you are rising. And then you go back, no problem. But first, do this exercise. So now, there's a country named Surasena. There was a king by name Chitraketu. Chitraketu was king following every aspect of dharma. So righteous, second name. Now Chitraketu, several wives, and one day the sage Angirasa, who is the son of direct son, not Brahma, he comes the way he was treating. Oh King Rajan, I see that you are so good, but there's something which you are haggled about, worried about. It is like to an hungry man, if you give him all the best of the flowers and the sandal paste, what purpose it will serve me? What I need is food. So, in the same way, now I have been, he says that I have everything. Angiras takes pity on him. Okay, don't worry. And immediately summons Lord Twashta. He tells him, need to give this. Immediately a concoction, and the eldest wife, Queen, or Queen, time son is born. After the son is born, things no bound, so attached. All the time he's spending with the child. He has forgotten his kingly affairs also, his subjects, duties. For him, it is the son and the queen. Because the other queens, they started feeling. Actually, the king was not going anywhere. He was not even attending his court. Leave alone he attending the other queens. So they felt like what we are not neglected to such an extent that we are worse than servant maids. And they all somehow we should make a plot and kill the child. Incidentally, this particular episode is in Upanishad Ganga. Very interesting. Okay, now they kill the child. One day, child has been poisoned and lying in cradle. The queen comes and she sees, she says, "Oh, this child is sleeping, doing her work, whatever, her daily chores." Sir, by this time, the child then tells one of her dasis, "Sir, go and check what has happened. Why is my son sleeping so much today?" He goes, he sees, in Russia, the child dead, infant. Now the other comes the king, that this queen fainted, he is also. Now the whole palace was sunk. Country, very dismal appearance. There again comes who had grand time. Now the queen is up. This time Angiras comes along with his brother, who is Narada Muni, sage Narada. They both are brothers. So they approach the king. King looks at them. They tell him, "Oh king, why are you mourning the death of your son?" But if you look at it in a sensible manner, you will realize that you are doing a foolish thing. What is he to you that you should weep for him? See, how are you related to him? You think that you are the father and that is your son, but think for a moment. He says, in your previous birth and in his previous birth, and again in your next birth and his next birth, will you both have the same relationship you are having? Did you have the same relationship during your earlier birth? This son of yours, who seems to be yours now, is not going to be your son in your next birth. He may be your friend, he may be your enemy, or perhaps an entire stranger to you altogether. So, this relationship, father and son, is so indeterminate. So, like example, when this he gives, when the river is flowing fast, grains of sand which flow along with travel together for a while, and then they are never to meet again. So, in this stream called time, you and your son travel together for a while, and now the parting of. He says, like a plant is born of another because of the seeds. So, even so, children are born in this world. No one has a claim on this. There is nothing here to be sorry for. You are deluded by Maya and you think that you are the father of this child, and hence you get this delusion. The king and queen are looking at them. You and I, they continue, you and I are all living beings. That is, you and I, all living and non living beings on this, on the face of this earth, are here for a while in this birth. After death, there will never be a meeting of. This is just about A together. Why then should you feel so sad? The Lord creates, He preserves, and He destroys. The law of nature. And He continues out of the body of the Dehi called father, out of the body of the Dehi called mother, is born the body of the Dehi called the son. So this is just as the birth seed from. So these bodies get destroyed. Following the laws of nature. There's the law that is that whatever is born must die. However, the Dehi, the Atman, never gets. So there is no need to mourn the death of something which has no death. This demarcation, this line of between the body and the Atman exists because of the ignorance of the true nature of the Atman. Once you shed this ignorance, this avidya, your sorrow, this very this we are all filled with ignorance. So we have to shed that. So he says, come, rouse yourself and get over this false sense of pain. There is no need for pain here. Oh, the heads are reeling now. He's a wise king. So is the queen. King Chit heard these words. He's wiping his face, his eyes. Who may you be that are speaking such comforting words to me? He's not able to recognize them also. And he says, truth to deluded mortals like myself, who behave as we do, like mad people because of grief, which in turn is like coming to me as I'm born of attack. So he says, please kindle my. Angiras said, O king, I am Angiras, who once granted you this son, whom you desired so badly. This Narada, the son of Brahma, is my direct brother. So he says, I'm sorry I was not able to recognize you all. I know you all have come to save. You are devoted, they say, you are devoted to the Lord. It is not right that you should, this. You are a devotee of the Lord and not right. When I came to you last time, I would have taught you the Brahma Vidya. I saw that you were not ripe enough for it. You were still caught up in the Maya of the Lord. You had a desire for an earthly object. What is that? And so I granted you a son. Now you are going through the tortures of a man who has lost. O king, O queen, woman, home, wealth, glory, the objects of the senses, royalty, servants, friends, relations, all these are but so many causes of pain, of unhappiness, of delusion. Here, consider for a moment. Have you never, have you ever stood? Now, see, these are beautiful examples. Huh? Have you ever stood on the terrace of your palace and watched the cloud chasing each other? At times, have you not observed that they look like a large city with gates, with roads, with palaces, with castles? Has not your imagination ever thought of such a city out of this cloud city called by the wise as Gandharva Nagari, a city built entirely imagine? Have you not never dreamt? And during the duration of the dream, have you not felt that you were a part of it? Once the dream is over, once you wake up, then you know that it was all unreal and this waking state is real. So once the clouds are scattered by the passing breeze, you see the Gandharvi Nagari melting away and you realize that all unreal was, and there was really nothing or such a called thing as a city over there. Have you not felt all this? Even so are the things of the world. This kingdom, this wealth, these wives, and this son whose death you are mourning, they do not, like when you get up, your real, unreal world in which you are. And so, when you wake up into that real Brahmi state, rise from the waking to the Brahmi state, this world will appear to you like the dream from which you have woken up from the dream, O king. Realize that nothing in this world is real or lasting, and you will then be able to shed. Narada, I will teach you a mantra from the. After repeating it for a week, you will see the Lord Adishek. You will then shed the sense of duality, reach the state which all deserving souls have. With his yogic power now, Narada made them see the dead prince. This is the last portion I want in focus. After knowledge given by sage Angiras and Narada was able to invoke the sun appear in front. Head prince. He spoke to him and he said, "Greet you. You are the soul of. Look on these kingsmen of yours. Your father, your mother, and others are grieving because you have. Please return to the body which you have abandoned." Showing them the body there. "Accept the wealth and the kingdom which your father is eager to give you. Be seated on the throne and make all happy." The souls, the divine soul, because of getting involved in karma, is born in this world as child of a bird. When considered in that fact, everyone who has been born in this world has at some time or the other been the son, mother, or relation of. Then it gives an example like gold and other commodities which are bought and sold, which change hands constantly. Even so, the soul passes away from body to body, from one father or one set of parents to. So this relation, and as long as there is as this relationship, so long the word mine, me, my, human, or enclosed in a human body. It is only when there is involvement pain arises. It is like that bar of gold. He gives an example. Consider a bar of gold. It is today placed in one box which belongs to, say, a miser. Yesterday it was in the strong box of a goldsmith. Years later it may be placed in the treasury of a king. Each of them will say that the gold is in his box or in my box. So long as it was in that goldsmith box, or in that of the miser, or in that of the king, they will say it is. But they do not realize that the gold does not belong to the box nor the owner of the box. Once, the same way, Atma. So, no pain, nor does it experience any pleasure. It does not grieve when parted from the body, which was till then holding the. Thus spoke the soul of the dead child, disappeared from the sight of king, the amazed at the event which came up. And by that words of the dead prince, people were rid of their. Now this chain of bondage was snapped, and they did not then perform. Rather, you can say the dead kill the child, purify them. Now Brahma Vidya. Here, King Chitraketu reached the banks of. He left the king, having bathed in the holy waters. He thought of the two rishis who had invoked him with that mantra japa. And Narada appeared before him and he was accompanied by, taught him the mantra which gave him. King was 7 days without the water. He was able to see the presence of Adishesha, which is said to be the other form of the Lord. He pleased with the praises of the king Adishesha. I am very pleased with your devotion. Adishesha says, Chitraketu. Narada and Angiras have asked you to come to me for. I will teach you the Brahma Vidya, which will clear our mind and rid make you get rid forever the veil of mind. The entire, now these are again the Adisheshas Brahma Vidya. This entire universe is pervaded by I am the seer, the seen, and the process of the three steps what we are talking. I am the seer, and all that is seen, and thing Triputi, where it is seeing. Since I am both the seer and the seen, the drashta and the drishya, there is no difference between them. I invest myself in the seer. No difference. There is on one hand the world of objects, and on the other who enjoys the world of objects. Since both are in reality, since both are myself in two different forms, there are no difference between them. I pervade both. I will allow with the simile of a dream and a dream. Shesha Narayana is giving this. When he is sleeping, a man sees a world of any other object. It stands to reason that this entire world is created by him alone. That is by the dreamer's mind. And it has no existence apart. Again, in the dream itself, man dreams of being awake, being in some spot other than where he laid down. When one who is sleeping in the house in Kosala, they talk about the kingdoms then, can well dream of something happening to him in Gandhara. These are all common experiences of a dreamer. If you shift the viewpoint and consider Atman as the dreamer, then this world becomes something what it appears. To one who has realized the Brahman, this world assumes the resemblance of a dream. The entire world is created by the dreamer, which is the Atman as again the world created in mind. When he wakes up from dream, meaning when he realizes that he is awakened, the Atman will then know that the entire world of objects is but illusion. Through these stages, he is awake, he is dreaming, and he is in deep sleep. These three stages occur one after another regularly to everyone. When he is awake, the dream world does not exist. When he is dreaming, the waking world does not. In the deep sleep stage, both these conditions are absent. What these three stages? It's something which says wake, think, person, Atman, you. Second half of sentence is not audible in many. Is it the case with everybody? Let me finish this now. To you, all things will look alike. Trees and the blades of grass, the mountain, the grain of sand. Everything is but the one. Since you know that you see everything as pervaded by me is the Brahmi state. This is important. When we are able to understand everything from the point of view of the Atman, not from your point of view, it is the state of Brahmi state. So whenever this truth is forgotten, then the soul gets involved in the world of objects. Forgetting its real nature, it becomes a victim to the play of will have no peace. So the wise should therefore strive for the attainment of this equanimity. This capability to look on everything as similar. Everything you should look alike to one who is proficient in Brahma Vidya. Now Aditya disappears from the sight. King was all. So Chitraketu now travels in skies mounted on wood flies, and he already got that divine state. Thousands of years who had no attachment, singing the praises of the he did that. Who Purnasya Purnamadaya Purvayasya Hari. Together with obeisance, Idam we offer today. We means God. Everybody. You all speak. Till then, subtle knowledge needs more attention. Know what they challenge. So keep seeking His grace, and you will be moving towards more of joy, peace. Is gap. Don't doubt it. Do your best.